What's up guys, it's me, Vox, and today I'm going to be showing you another deck profile for Master Duel, and that's the lovely but deadly Dragonmaids. Dragonmaids is a very interesting deck with a unique playstyle, one that if they allow you to set up, it's very hard for your opponent to stop you from gaining advantage continuously. If you like content like this, you know what to do, and as always, other information and timestamps for the combos and replays or for whatever else you may need in the description down below. For the hand traps first, we're playing triple Maxi with triple Ash, 1 Nibiru and 2 Called by the Grave. This is the standard hand trap lineup that I choose to run in most of my decks. Nibiru specifically is incredible because if you Maxi your opponent and they accept the Maxi challenge, if you get lucky and you draw your Nibiru before they set up their negates, you can completely wreck them. Or at worst, you could bait one of their negates. Another hand trap that you could potentially add into this deck is Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Its effect is, if your opponent special summons a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you draw cards equal to the number of Link monsters your opponent controls +1. Then shuffle cards from your hand into the deck, equal to the number of Link monsters they control. When your opponent activates a card or effect that target a monster you control, quick effect, you can discard one card, negate the activation, and if you do, you destroy it. In case you have some free space and you don't know what other cards or hand traps you could add, this is a very solid option, and at worst, you could even use this with Dragonmaid Changeover to go into your shoe or into your house. For the Dragonmaid monster lineup, we run 1 Nurse, 2 Kitchen, 3 Parlor, 3 Chamber, and for the big Dragonmaid dragons, we have 1 Ernus with 1 Tinkek and 1 Lorpor. What Nurse effect is, if this card is normal special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster in your graveyard except herself and you special summon it. She is basically a monster reborn for your small Dragonmaid monsters. At the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, you special summon 1 level 7 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. By the way, the effect that all small Dragonmaid monsters share, in case you're new to the Dragonmaids, is, as I've read previously, at the start of the battle phase, you can return them from the field into the hand to special summon 1 level 7 or 8 Dragonmaid monster from your either hand or graveyard. Now for the Kitchen Dragonmaid, her effect is, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 Dragonmaid monster from your deck to your hand except herself. Then you send 1 Dragonmaid monster from your hand to the graveyard, and at the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, you special summon 1 level 8 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. After some research and playtesting, I have found that it is best to play her at 1 or 2 copies, never at 3, since by herself, you can't properly set up a good first turn board. You would need to have 1 Dragonmaid Hospitality in hand in order for a proper combo to be made with Kitchen. She is very bricky at 3 copies and honestly quite pointless, even if ideally you always want to have 1 or 2 small Dragonmaid monsters in your hand to combo off properly. Kitchen, in my opinion, out of all the Dragonmaid monsters that we have into this deck, is the weakest of them all. Some people choose to not run her at all even, but again, as I've said, 1 or 2 copies of Kitchen is fine and manageable. Now for Parlor Dragonmaid, which is quite incredible, her effect is, if this card is normal special summoned, you can send 1 Dragonmaid card from your deck to the graveyard except herself, and at the start of the battle phase, return this card into your hand. If you do, special summon 1 level 8 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. She is basically the Foolish Burial of the deck, having many targets for you to choose to send to the graveyard depending on your opening hand or the situation on board. The last but not least, for the small Dragonmaid monsters, we run Triple Chamber Dragonmaid, one of the best normal summon for the deck. What she does is, if this card is normal special summoned, you can add 1 Dragonmaid spell trap from your deck into your hand, and at the start of the battle phase, you can return this card from your hand, and if you do, you special summon 1 level 7 or higher Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. She is basically your searcher for your Dragonmaid spell or traps, depending on what you want to finish on board, or whatever else you may need. She is quite phenomenal, honestly. And finally, for the big Dragonmaid dragons, we run 1 Ernus. What she does is, cannot be destroyed by card effects while you control a fusion monster. Her first quick effect is you can discard this card and you can special summon one level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand. And her second effect is at the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, you special summon one level 2 Dragonmaid monster from your hand. Basically, her target is Nurse Dragonmaid. All of the big dragons for the Dragonmaid lineup share the same protection from card effect distraction if you have a fusion monster on board, which is very handy indeed. Now for Tenyi, what she does is cannot be destroyed by card effects while you control a fusion monster. Her first quick effect is you can discard this card, then target one Dragonmaid monster you control. It gains 2000 attack until the end of this turn, and at the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, you special summon a level 3 Dragonmaid monster from your hand. She is basically the honest Neos of the deck. She is very useful for you to be able to destroy tower monsters, basically monsters that have high attack points and are generally hard to remove due to immunities or protections. With Tenyi, you will be able to get over them and go from there basically. Overall, she is incredibly solid and in my opinion a very good addition. Some people actually don't run her at all, which in my opinion, based on my ladder experience, is a big mistake. And now for Lorpar, what she does, again, cannot be destroyed by card effects while you control a fusion monster. Her first effect, you can discard this card, target one face-up monster on the field. Players cannot activate the target's effect on the field this turn. And at the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, you special summon a level 3 Dragonmaid monster from your hand. Her first effect is basically like an effect veiler. Obviously, you don't want to open these three dragons. You don't mind seeing one, but ideally, you want to send them to the graveyard with effects like Parlor or Hospitality for maximum value and grind potential. You don't want to be greedy with this deck, as long as you have a proper plan. Now for the other monsters that we run in this deck is one Black Metal Dragon. What it does is you can target one Red Eyes monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. We don't really care about that first effect. Its second effect though is if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, which is basically you would normal summon this and you would link it off with one of your link ones, you can add one Red Eyes card from your deck into your hand. Basically, we resolve this, as I've said, with linking it off with one of our level 1 links that we have into our extra deck. We activate its effect from the graveyard to search the one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. What he does is you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one face-up dragon monster you control. And during your main phase, you can special summon one dragon monster from your hand or graveyard except himself. An incredible phenomenal card. Basically, he's a very good extender, allowing us to special summon ideally one of our other Dragonmaid monsters that we have either in hand or graveyard to extend our plays. Overall, a small but very good package that we have into the deck that helps us facilitate our first turn board. And now for the last two dragons that we run is 2 copies of Noctovision Dragon. What it does is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face down card you control, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate that effect. Also, your opponent cannot target that face down card or cards with card effects for the rest of this turn. You can only use of each of the following effects of Noctovision Dragon once per turn. His first effect is, if a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can draw 1 card. An incredible extender that not only draws us 1 card when you link it off, to make your Hieratic Seal or your Anaconda even, but it also protects your back row from distraction, which is phenomenal, let's be real. A thing to keep in mind is, don't forget that if you resolve your Pot of Prosperity, you will basically miss the draw 1 of your Noctovision when you link him off because of the Prosperities effect, obviously. And of course, before we go into the spells and traps, we run 1 Celestial and 1 Dasher because since we're also lining 1 DPE, right? We have to run these cards. Now for the spell and traps, obviously 2 Fusion Destiny because DPE is quite incredible. Then we run 2 Dragonmaid Hospitality. What it does, special summon 1 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can send 1 Dragonmaid monster with the same attribute but a different level from your deck to the graveyard. Basically an incredible extender. The ways that you could use this is, if you used Hospitality, for example, with your Nurse, then you could have the prompt to dump Ernus from your deck into the graveyard. Or if you used Parlo Dragonmaid with Hospitality, you would be able to dump Lorpar into the graveyard. Or if you used Kitchen Dragonmaid, you would be able, with Hospitality again, dump your Tenyi into the graveyard, which basically gives you access into these dragons. Then for our fusion spell, we're playing one copy of Dragonmaid Changeover. What it does, fusion summon one dragon fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. While this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Dragonmaid monster you control, add this card into your hand, and if you do, you can return that monster into the hand. Basically one of the ways that you can bounce one of your Dragonmaid monsters back into the hand and get Changeover as well from your graveyard. Now for our draw power, we're playing Triple Pot of Prosperity, obviously quite phenomenal. I wouldn't play this deck with Pot of Extravagance, but again, that is just my opinion. And finally, for the traps, we're playing Triple Dragonmaid Tiding. What it does, target one dragon monster you control and one card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, and you return them to the hand. And also, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but you return it to the hand during the end phase. Quite phenomenal trap card. It has so many uses. Not only you can banish it to extend your plays, you can even use it as disruption to bounce one Dragonmaid card you control into your hand and one card your opponent controls into theirs. Quite phenomenal. And finally, for our trap lineup, we're playing one Dragonmaid Downtime. What it does is, and it's a continuous trap as well, let's not forget, what it does is you can target one Dragonmaid monster you control, then activate one of these effects. The first effect is you can either return it to the hand, and if you do, you can add one Dragonmaid card from your deck into your hand, except Downtime, of course. And the second effect is return it to the hand, and if you do, return one spell or trap your opponent controls into the hand. This is an incredible addition to the deck. It adds more power into our grind game. Quite phenomenal, and honestly, I feel like that if they choose to take the game into the grind game against you, 99% of the times, with cards like Dragonmaid Downtime, you will be able to win and outgrind them. And now for our extra deck, obviously we're playing 1 DPE, which is quite incredible. For our Dragonmaid fusion monsters, we're playing 2 House Dragonmaid and 2 Dragonmaid Shu. What House Dragonmaid does is it requires 1 Dragonmaid monster and 1 Dragon monster. What she does is, once per turn, during the standby phase, you can target one other Dragonmaid monster you control, and you special summon one Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, whose level is 1 higher or lower than it. When another face-up dragon monster you control returns to the hand, except during the damage step, you can target one monster your opponent controls and you destroy it. One thing to keep in mind with this card is that it can actually miss timing. What that means is that in order for House Dragonmaid to resolve, it needs to be the last effect in the chain for it to happen. Because if that's not the case, if for example there's another effect happening after House Dragonmaid, her effect to destroy one card of your opponent if you bounce something at your hand will not resolve, unfortunately. So that's something that you need to keep it in mind. And now for Shu, she requires 1 Dragonmaid monster and 1 level 5 or higher dragon monsters. Basically, you would use your big dragons to go into your Shu. What she does is, during its standby phase, you can special summon 1 level 9 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. Quite incredible. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Also, after that, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, you special summon 1 House Dragonmaid from your extra deck. So basically, you would negate the effect of Shu, and then she would go back into the extra deck to summon one of your House Dragonmaids. Quite incredible card. Basically, the boss monster for the deck. She is like a big bit stick on top of that. Quite incredible, quite phenomenal. And now for our links, we're playing 1 God Dragon Pisty with the 2 Striker Dragons. Basically, we use these cards to link off our Dragonmaids or our Black Metal Dragon. Basically, a way for us to get them into the graveyard. Pisty is here because we also run Triple Burst Dragon. Basically, you would use her effect with Triple Burst Dragon to special summon a monster into the arrow that Triple Burst Dragon points to, the down arrow. In case that you don't know what it does, you cannot special summon monsters except dragon monsters, and during your main phase, you can target one of your dragon monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, and you special summon it into your zone that 2 or more link monsters point to. So basically, you would have your Guard Dragon Pisty, and then you would also have your Triple Burst Dragon that points down, and then at that area, you would be able to special summon one of your dragons that is either in your graveyard or that is banished. Quite handy at that as well. Then we run 1 Twin Triangle Dragon. What it does is, when this card is link summoned, you can pay 500 life points, then target one level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard and you special summon it into the zone this card points to. But it cannot attack this turn, and also it has its effects negated. Basically, you can use this to extend to go higher into your link plays. Then we run one Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. It requires 2 dragon monsters, and what it does is, once per opponent's turn, if this card is in the extra monster zone, quick effect, you can tribute one monster from your hand or field, and you return one face-up card on the field to the hand. If this card is tributed, special summon one dragon monster from your hand or deck, and you make its attack and defense to 0. You can only use its effect once per turn. Basically, you can bounce one card off of your opponent, and if you tribute it, you can special summon any of your Dragonmaid monsters from your deck into the field, and basically activate their effects to gain more advantage or to actually get you some follow-up plays. Then, of course, because we have DPE, we run one Predaplant Vert Anaconda. As I've said, we also run one Triple Burst Dragon. What it does, once per turn during the damage step, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. During your main phase, except the turn this card was special summoned, you can tribute this card, then target one link 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, and you special summon it. Then you can special summon one level 4 or lower dragon monster from your hand. This effect can actually come up. There could be applications that you could use this to extend your plays, but as I've said, the only reason that we ran this as a 3 instead of Unicorn is that it can actually have some interactions with your God Dragon Pisty. And now for the 4s that we will very rarely get into, but they can actually come up sometimes, it is one Appaloosa above the Goddess, one Access Code, and for the big tower monsters, when we already have used our Dragonmaid Tinkek, is one Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, in case your opponent, as I've said, has a big tower monster that you cannot get over. You can link it off with Underworld Goddess of the Closed World and basically be done from it. So that was for the deck profile, guys. As always, I will go and show you guys some combos so you can grasp and get an idea of how to play this deck. And then when we're done with the combos, we will start with the replays. So let's show with the combos. For our opening hand, we have an incredible hand. So let's start. We're going to first use Chamber Dragonmaid, activate her effect to search us one Hospitality. Then we're going to activate Hospitality to special summon the Parlor from a hand, and also send Lorpar from our deck into the graveyard. I'm going to activate Parlor. We're going to send one Tiding. Then we're going to go into our Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres and end it with a Fusion Destiny. Get TP into the field. And now we are setting with a very standard board for Dragonmaids, which is one Hieratic Seal with one Dragonmaid Tiding for Disruption, and on top of that, one DPE as well. So let's show you guys the second combo that we can get with this deck. Again, we opened a pretty good hand, and as you guys saw in the previous combo, this was the very standard board that usually Dragonmaids would end on the first turn. So let's see what we can do with the hand that we have now. We're gonna normal summon Chamber Dragonmaid again, get the Hospitality, activate Hospitality so we can special summon the Kitchen from our hand, and we're also going to dump Tinkek into the graveyard. Then Kitchen's effect will activate. We're going, in this case, we're going to dump one Parlor, because we're going to get her into the hand and then we're going to send her. And then, at this case, the other opener that you could have, instead of going with Hieratic Seal of the Seven Spheres, is you could go with Predaplant Vert Anaconda. You would activate Vert Anaconda's effect, pay the 1,000, send the Fusion Destiny and the materials for GPE. Unfortunately, we draw our Celestial, but what can you do? And now you have follow-up into your graveyard, depending on what you draw. And also you have the interruption with TPE, and also you have Maxi and Ash Blossom into your hand. As you guys saw, with Dragonmaids, most of the times you will be able to end on your either Hieratic Seal or, again as you saw, with Predaplant Vert Anaconda. And if you have other extenders into your hand or follow-up, that is even better. So let's show you guys now the replays. For the first replay, we're playing against Standard Dragons, and we're going first. We're going to start with Pot of Prosperity. We're going to banish 3. We're going to reveal Fusion Destiny, Hospitality, and then we're going to reveal Revere. Also, obviously, we're going to get the Fusion Destiny. We're going to normal summon Parlor to send Changeover. Our opponent is going to Maxias, and of course, we're going to Ash Blossom in response. We do not want to give them draws, obviously. The chain will resolve. Then we're going to activate Changeover to get it back into our hand and also bounce Parlor. We're going to activate Changeover to use Lore Power and Dragonmaid and Parlor Dragonmaid to go into our show. And then, to top it all off, I'm going to Fusion Destiny to get our DP into the field. And we're also going to set Tiding for 3 interruptions on board. And at standby phase, Show's effect will activate to special summon Parlor, and Parlor will send Chamber for extension. And our opponent just scoops, because the advantage that we gained was so incredible. For the second replay, we're playing second, and unfortunately we're bricked, but our opponent seems to be on the same fate as us. He bricked as well. We drew our Tiding, we can't do anything. We're going to set our Tiding and Super Poly and pass again. Our opponent is going to set another and pass. We are on turn 4 at this point, and I just drew my nurse, but I can't do anything with that, so I'm just going to end my turn again. Turn 5 for our opponent. He's going to end his phase. Turn 6 for us again. We draw our Cold Buy, and we're just going to end phase again. And on turn 7, as you will be able to see, our opponent is going to Pot of Prosperity, banish 3, to reveal Dragonmaid. We're playing a mirror matchup. He's going to grab his Kitchen Dragonmaid. He's going to normal summon her. I'm going to instantly Maxi because I know that he wants to go into his links as well. He's going to Cold Buy the Maxi, unfortunately for us, because that means that our Maxi, the second that we have, is useless. The chain will resolve. Kitchen will resolve as well. He's going to bring his Tink Egg, and he's going to send the other Tink Egg that he had in his hand. He's going to bounce her back to the battle phase for Tink Egg to come back from the graveyard into the field. He's going to attack and pass. And now on turn 8, let's see what we draw. Finally, we draw our Chamber Dragonmaid. I'm going to Harpy's Feather first to see what she has in the back row. That was one Cold Buy. I'm going to normal summon Chamber. He's going to Ash us, but we have Cold by the Grave in response. So we're going to resolve our chain, thankfully. Chain will resolve. And with Chamber, we're going to add one Dragonmaid Changeover. We're going to activate Changeover. He's going to Maxias, but we don't really care, because he will basically just get negated because he Cold by us in our previous turn. Something that a lot of people forget is that Cold by the Grave, the negate effect lasts until the end of the next turn, so he probably forgot. Dragonmaid Show is on the field. On battle phase, we're going to bounce our Chamber back and special summon Erdus from the graveyard. We're going to destroy his Tink Egg and attack him for 2600 life points. We're going to bounce Ernest into our hand to get Changeover from the graveyard, and we are ready for our follow-up plays for the next turn. We already have one Super Poly and one Tiding for interruption in our set, because in this game I was actually testing and seeing if Super Poly could be added into the deck, and obviously you can play with it, but I honestly did not like it, and I don't think it is as necessary as some people think. I'm going to activate Show's effect to special summon on standby. He's going to chain Maxi again. I'm going to chain Maxi just for the lols, in case he has a Cold Buy or something. He's going to Cyframe Gamma, and I'm going to negate it with Show, and also use Earnest effect for Chainlink 6 to special summon Chamber from hand. So the Chamber will resolve, Chamber will get into the field, Show will negate his Cyframe Gamma, and also we're going to special summon House Dragonmaid because of Show's effect, and then the Chamber will resolve. We're also going to special summon Nurse. Chamber will resolve to Swordsoul's Hospitality, and then he's going to Harpy's Feathers. Then he's going to Harpy's Feather Duster, unfortunately for us, to destroy our back row. He's going to normal Kitchen again to search his Chamber. He's going to send his Chamber to the graveyard, set one and pass. At this point he's done, we have so much advantage. We're going to draw into our Noctovision. We're going to link into our Striker Dragon and activate Noctovision's effect from the hand to special summon. We're going to link it off. go into one of our Hieratics Field of Heavenly Spheres, activate Noctovision's effect to draw 1. We're going to banish Dragonmaid from graveyard to special summon Ernest into the field, so we can Dragonmaid changeover. He's going to activate Tiding to send his kitchen and our house Dragonmaid back into our hands. But the changeover will obviously resolve, get us our show, the second show that we have, into the deck, and then we're going to Hospitality, get changeover into the field, get the chamber into the field, sorry, to search the Tiding. He's going to Nibiru us, but obviously we have the negate with show, so we are safe from that. The chamber resolve, we're going to negate Nibiru, house Dragonmaid is back on the field, and then on battle phase, we're going to bounce chamber into our hand, special summon Ernus, and finish him. So as you guys can see, we can grind even our mirror matches incredibly well if you play with your resources properly. For our third replay, we're playing second. Our opponent is going to Pot of Desires. We're going to instantly ash that. We don't know what he plays, so we might as well just use the ash here to prevent his 2 draws. He's going to set 1 and pass. We drew our Fusion Destiny, we have Pot of Prosperity, we're fine. We're going to Pot of Prosperity first. He's going to ash our pot because we banished 6. Okay, we're fine. We basically got his ash and our Fusion Destiny is fine. We will be able to resolve it. We're going to activate Fusion Destiny. He's going to max C. He's going to basically just draw 1 because we don't have any other extensions. Chain will resolve. We're going to dump the 2 Destiny Hero monsters to the graveyard to get TP into the field. And on battle phase, we're going to see that he's actually Swordsoul. He's playing Swordsoul Tenyi, and he probably bricked, I don't know why. Or I don't know what hands he had in hand. He's going to activate Swordsoul Emergence to search his Taya. He's going to normal summon it to banish the Emergence to get the token to the field. I'm going to chain DPE to destroy the token. And obviously activate his effect to resolve. He's going to special summon Protoss and actually choose Dark, so we won't be able to get our DPE into the field, unfortunately for us. And we drew another Pot of Prosperity. We're going to activate it again, banish 3 this time. I'm going to reveal 1 Ash, 1 Ernus, and 1 Chamber, thankfully for us. We're going to normal summon Chamber, activate her effect to get Changeover into our hand. We're going to activate Changeover using Lorpar and Chamber to go into our show. And now we'll go into the battle phase, destroy his Protoss, and end our phase. So we have 1 negate. We're going to on standby special summon something with show, as you can see now. We're going to get Chamber Dragonmaid into the field, activate her effect. He's going to ash this. We're not going to negate this, in case he has something else for follow-up. He's going to end his phase, and then we drew, as you guys can see, another card that I was testing that I did not add into the final version of Dragonmaid that I showed you guys the deck profile, which is 1 World Legacy God Dragon, which is, in my opinion, I feel like it is a worst version of Dragonmaid Hospitality. Basically, this is one of the cards that you could add in case you play triple copies of Dragonmaid Hospitality, which again, I believe that is a better version of World Legacy God Dragon. But most people run this in case they drew the second copy of Hospitality into their hand, so they could go Hospitality and World Legacy. But as you will be able to see now, we're going to special summon Lorpar with Show's effect into the field. We're going to activate Changeover to get Lorpar back into our hand and Changeover into our hand. We're going to link the Chamber into our 1-striker dragon. We're going to activate World Legacy to special summon Chamber into the field again to resolve her effect. Search Tiding for follow-up, and on battle phase, Chamber will bounce back to get Lorpar into the field. We're going to attack our opponent for some damage. He will not die though. And on main phase 2, we're going to set Tiding and pass. At this point, we have full control. Show's effect will special summon Chamber from the hand to get us 1 downtime from the deck into our hand. He's going to Emergence. We're going to negate immediately. And at this point, he is done. He can't really do anything. We have House Dragonmaid for interruption. We have Tiding as well. We're going to instantly Tiding, get our Chamber back and his Moye back into the hand, and he's going to pass, and he's basically done. I'm just going to normal summon Dragonmaid, get the other Tiding. At this point we have won. Activating Changeover to go into our show again, using Chamber and Lorpar, and we're going to battle phase and finish him for game. As you guys can see, we can grind them so hard if we play our cards and our resources properly. And now for the fourth and our final replay for the Dragonmaid deck profile, we're playing second with a good hand, and our opponent is actually playing ABC. He's going to activate his Galaxy Soldier to send one light monster from his hand to the graveyard. He's going to send his Seagrass Wyvern. We're going to Ash his Galaxy Soldier because he wants to go into his Cyber Dragon with the negate. The Exceed 6 negate, so we're going to basically Ash him. He's going to normal summon his Mecha Pistol Lion to go into his Crystal Haki Fibrax. Crystal will resolve. Chainlink 2 for Mecha Pistol Lion to get the token. Crystron will special summon his Jet Synchron. He will go into his Auroradon. Most of you guys are probably tired of seeing this combo, but it is so fucking powerful. It's so incredible. He's going to activate Auroradon's effect to tribute him and one token to special summon another lion that he had in his deck. He's going to activate Jet Synchron's effect. He actually discarded his Droplet to get Synchron back into the field. He's going to go into his Cupid Pitch with one Jet Synchron and one token. He's going to increase his level, and then he's going to use the Cupid Pitch and the one token to go into his Borlord Savage. Cupid Pitch Chainlink 1, Borlord Chainlink 2. If you saw my Relinquish deck, you know how powerful Cupid Pitch is. He's going to equip his Auroradon into his Borlord Savage. He's going to burn us, and he's going to also search his corridor to go into his Colossus. He's going to use the 3 token and Mecha Fandobis to go into his Danglong to search the 9 Pillars of Yangzing, which is basically a non-negate if he has a Yangzing monster in the field. He's going to special summon Corridor to return one of his banished monsters. He targeted his Jachingra basically to get it back into the deck. And then he's going to use his Nemesis Corridor to finally go into his Colossus. An actually incredible board, honestly. Let's be real. He has two negates, and then we cannot search cards from our deck. And on standby, he's going to instantly Maxi us. We're going to Cold by the Grave, his Maxi. He's going to use his Borlord Savage Omnigate to stop the Cold by. And we do not mind at all, actually, for this. Chain will resolve, Cold by will get negated. Then we're going to activate Lorpar, targeting his Colossus. I basically did this because I wanted to get the Lorpar into the graveyard. You will see why. We're going to activate Parlor to dump Changeover. We're going to activate Changeover to return Changeover back from the graveyard to our hand, and also bounce the Parlor Dragonmaid that we have from the field back into our hand. We're going to activate Changeover, and he's actually going to negate with Yangzing, which is fine for us again, since we have Fusion Destiny. He sent Changeover back into our deck. But then we're going to activate Fusion Destiny to send the Destiny Hero materials into the graveyard, Dazzler Celestial. DPE is on the field. We're going to battle phase, get his protection for Colossus. Now Colossus basically, he doesn't have any other protection, so at next turn he will be able to be destroyed. And then on battle phase, in case he has Effect Veiler or something, we're going to activate DPE to destroy his Borlord Savage and DPE. We're going to activate DPE so we will be able to special summon him on standby phase. And then on standby, DPE is back on the field. Our opponent is going to normal summon Buster Drake, and then I chained my DPE to destroy it, and he actually chained his unauthorized reactivation. This way, he will actually equip his Buster Drake with the Assault Core, and when Assault Core is actually equipped on a monster, that monster is unaffected by your opponent's monster effect. So he was basically safe from DPE. So at this point, I could not basically destroy Buster Drake, but I could destroy his Colossus. DPE will resolve again, and he's going to banish these 2 monsters of the field and his Seagrass Wyvern from the graveyard to special summon his ABC Dragon. But his ABC is not really useful. He can't really do anything because he doesn't have cards in his hand in order for him to discard and basically banish a monster from the field. So he doesn't have his disruption effect. So thankfully for us, DPE, we're also at this point, before we get into the DPE, sorry, I'm actually going to activate Dazzler's effect to special summon the Ash that I just drew. You're going to see why. DPE is going to get back into the field. I'm going to normal summon Parlor. We're going to dump the Changeover again, activate Changeover to bounce the Parlor Dragonmaid. He's going to chain his ABC to get his A, B, and C monsters back into the field, which we don't really care at this point, honestly. Chain will resolve. We're going to get Changeover back into our hand with Parlor. We're going to activate Changeover now. Use Tinkek and the Parlor Dragonmaid to go into our show. And then on battle phase, we're going to attack first on his core. Then DP will attack his B-Buster. He will activate his effect. We're going to instantly negate with show. Since we attacked first with show, we didn't care, because we're going to attack again with House Dragonmaid. We're going to activate DPE to destroy the Ash and his Seacrush Wyvern, so we can get 3k damage in. We're also going to activate Celestial Element phase 2 to banish Celestial and Dasher to draw 2, and we drew Ash and Parlor, which is quite incredible. So basically at this point, he's most likely fucked. He's going to normal summon his Maxi and just suicide it. He's basically done. And at this point, as you guys can see, we broke his board, we outgrinded him, and Fusion Destiny on top of that we drew, which was completely useless. And we finished the game off against an incredible ABC player. That was it, guys, for the Dragonmaid deck profile. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I obviously, as I've said earlier, I want to add combos before the replays every single time for every single video from now on for the deck profiles, so you can guys at least see how the deck works, how it functions, what plays it can make, etc. Again, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoy videos like this, you know what to do. Make sure to like, to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.